What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? My name is Protocol Pegasus, here to bring you guys another video in Remnant from the Ashes, covering my Necromancer Chaos build. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you open up my character sheet here, you can see that the sidearm I am utilizing is the submachine gun. Reason being for that is because I love the fact that I can deal with targets at close range pretty effectively. From there, I'm also using the weapon mod called Sea Caller. Lets me summon 2 Rude Howls that will basically run around and do my bidding, meaning that they'll run up and smack stuff in the face. Fantastic time. From there, the primary weapon I'm using is Beam Rifle. Reason being for that is because it procs the radiation perk, which allows me to amplify the damage output, and it also looks really freaking cool. From there, I'm using the weapon mod called Beckon. Beckon will summon 2 skulls, which will allow me to go about continuously attacking from a range, and from there, they'll also float around and follow me too, which makes this even more viable despite the fact that I'm in a boss fight or surrounded by a group of ads. From there, the melee weapon I happen to be utilizing is the Lost Harpoon. Lost Harpoon just goes with the whole theme of the build, proccing even more radiation, and it lets me keep my distance from anyone that happens to be on top of me. From there, the armor set that I happen to be utilizing is the Rituals armor set. Reason being for that is because it allows me to keep my mods up at all times with the passive mod regeneration perk it has built into it, and it also increases the mod duration, meaning that my mods are pretty much up at all times, aka being my summons. From there, I'm using the amulet called the Brutal's Mark. The Brutal's Mark increases my damage output by 25% when the target is below 50% HP, so it just bolsters my damage. All around just good. Soul Link is the bread and butter of the build, which allows me to go about getting any form of healing off of the amount of damage that my summons happen to be doing. So with that being said, I can have some skulls out, I can have some Rude Hollows out, and when they attack enemies, it will instantly heal me, which is fantastic. From there, I also have Hunter's Band. The reason I have Hunter's Band is because a lot of times I'll throw my summons out, and they will do all of my bidding while I'll stay in the back and laser beam whatever the heck it happens to be in my way. So that will increase the damage output from the range, and if I happen to hit a weak spot, that's an additional 20% damage. So from there, it's not too bad. And if they drop below 50% HP, that's another 25% on top of that, which does stack, which is absolutely fantastic. That's not even including the amount of damages coming off both my summons. But with that being said, let's jump into traits. So the traits are going to be as follow. The 2 primary traits that I really recommend for this build are going to be the Invoker traits, the Healing Effectiveness trait, which I cannot pronounce for the life of me, and then the other trait I would highly recommend is going to be your Spirits, which is mod power generation, which will allow you to keep your mods up continuously. Those are the 3 primary traits I would definitely recommend for this overall build, but like I always say in any build video of mine, is the fact that a lot of the times when you're playing at higher level difficulties, you want to have much trait as possible, just because it lets you be a little bit more diverse, a little bit more adaptable, and it lets you handle pretty much anything that happens to come your way, which is very nice overall. But without further ado, let's stop the yapping and get to the gaming, shall we? I'm going to jump cut the video here, and we're going to end up getting into a fight here in one of the lovely locations of my choosing, and then I'll show you what this build happens to be all about. So yeah, just give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright, I am back and I have found some enemies. We are here on Earth playing on Nightmare difficulty. So I'm going to show you what this build happens to be all about and show you how powerful it can be. So I'm going to go ahead and open up on these guys with my summons. And from there we're just going to go to town. What's really nice about this build is the fact that you can spam your summons pretty much as you like. So do not hesitate to use them. They are the bread and butter of this build. Without having your summons up, you will not do damage. You will not heal, and you will not survive, so keep that in mind when playing this Chaos Necromancer. What's also cool about the summons is, too, that they will walk around and they will follow you, as well as kill anything that happens to be in their path, which is absolutely fantastic. And if they do end up killing anything, once again, I do heal from that. So it is absolutely fantastic. And keep in mind, they don't have to kill it for me to heal. They just have to do damage to it. What's also nice is, too, is the fact that my summons are still active right now, and they're nowhere near me because I had to jump down the cliff, but that's okay. They can still consistently do damage while they're still active, chasing around whatever they happen to see, and it will still continuously heal me even if they're across the map. What's also nice is, too, I can keep a distance with my lasers and just stay farther back. And that will apply the radiation perk, and from there, even my summons will be able to do more damage, which will be very nice. Ooh, another elite. We're gonna go chase him down real quick. But you can pretty much see how easy and adaptable this build happens to be when encountering a lot of adds. Even if they happen to be elites, you can see I'm just mowing them down. They're not a problem at all. And once again, like I said, this is nightmare mode. It doesn't look like it, but yeah, it's definitely nightmare mode. I'm going to go ahead and keep progressing forward. I'm going to get into a boss fight here in a little bit so I can show you guys the true potential of what the build happens to offer against bosses. And then from there, as I progress, I'm going to continuously go over some other tips and tricks so that way you guys can utilize this build to its full potential. So I'm going to keep my summons up, and as you can see too, my summons are going to deal with this elite, allowing me to maneuver around the actual map a little bit to be able to continuously keep loot up. And it's also going to allow me to deal with any enemies that happen to be in the back line pretty easily. Ooh. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and heal that real quick. I'm going to get this lovely root rod off of my face. And I'm going to progress further. And even though this isn't like heavy armor or anything along those lines, it's still pretty viable if you have it maxed out. It's a very well designed crafted armor that you can actually utilize pretty effectively. Of course you can't take every single hit, but because it's a lightweight frame, it will allow you to dodge around pretty easily and still be super speedy without having to worry about getting caught on anything. Okay, now that we just did a complete loop here, I'm going to continue progressing a little bit further and hopefully be able to get to a boss fight encounter. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to jump cut the video a little bit and we'll be able to get to a boss fight just because I don't want the video to be too long. So give me one moment and then we're going to get into a boss fight. And we are back heading into some boss fog here, and from there we are going to fight this lovely guy, and I will show you the sheer power of the build against bosses.
I know that, lad, so give it.
I gotta make sure.
Well then.
I gotta choose the right text. And there we go. Okay, now we're into a boss fight. I'm gonna get all the adds out on the field, and then from there we're gonna lay waste to this guy. And I'm going to go ahead and just position myself where there's a little bit of cover and let my adds do all the work. As you can see, they're going to town on him while I'm completely exposed. So I'm going to back up a little bit and I'm going to go ahead and take care of these guys. While my adds take care of pretty much anything they see. While they're doing that, I'm also getting healed and I don't really have to worry about what the heck they're hitting. I just have to worry about the fact that they're hitting something. So that way I can actually get the healing from them. From there, once all the adds are cleared, the only thing left to focus on is going to be the boss, so I can continuously just DPS the boss and not have to worry about it. And even if I take some shotgun blasts to the face, you can see that my health goes all the way back up. From there, I'm just going to kite around, and I'm going to make sure that I have continuous cover while my adds do all of the heavy lifting. And with the beam rifle, I'm going to position myself a little bit farther back because I'm going to get more damage from it. And I'm also going to be able to proc radiation, which is going to be nice, which will amplify the damage on my summons, which will allow me to get even more healing. Because it goes off the 5% damage that they deal, not the 5% damage that they can do. From there, I'm going to go ahead and position kindly back inside here, and I'm going to keep kiting. Oh, as I forget how to path a little bit, but that's okay. So one thing to note about this build is that you always want to have your summons up, like I said previously. Those are going to be the bread and butter of the builds. If you do not have the summons, I cannot stress this enough, you will die and you will have no damage. And you will not be able to survive. One thing to note about this build is that you are a little bit more squishier than you would be, let's say, in my last build that I happen to do. But you're still a little bit more versatile and you can position pretty easily with a few dodges. So it's not really too concerning. You just have to be very cautious of what you are doing. I'm going to go ahead and use a heart there just in case. Another thing to note about this build is that, well, I should say about using the beam rifle. The beam rifle is a very fun and very powerful weapon, as you can clearly see. Now, the downside to the beam rifle is that if you're someone like me that always reloads after a kill, you're going to have a difficult time with this weapon. Because you kind of have to train your mind in the sense of not reloading after every shot. Just because of the fact that once you do, this is your reloading animation. takes forever, and you'll get stuck in an animation lock, which will just instantly get you killed every single time, because when you're reloading, you cannot use your summons, and if you can't have your summons out, like I said, you're dead. So that's one thing to note. Another thing to note is too, when you're using your summons, you can't animation cancel in them. So what do I mean by that is when I'm actually, hold on, when I am trying to summon here and I push my dodge key, it will not dodge until after the summon has been summoned. So that is another thing to note. If you are under heavy fire and you need to quickly dodge but you want to get your summon out, dodge first, then summon, because you will not be able to do so when you push that summon key. And I'm going to summon even more, lay waste to him. So as you can see, but yeah, that's pretty much going to be it, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, be sure to post them in the comment section. I'll be happy to get back to you on that. And if you guys want an overall guide breakdown of where to go about collecting a lot of these armor pieces, anything like that, feel free to let me know in the comment section. But yeah, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Later.